Obviously, guys, at the weekend, it was the FA Cup.
Shut the f*** up.
Yeah, what the hell? That's demonetised the video now.
It was cup.
Up.
Oh,
I thought it was like one of the better rounds in ages that I can remember.
do you know what, right?
It was
this
fun.
Your game was very good as well.
Yeah, it was unreal.
This weekend proved why the FA Cup should still have the hype around. Like, you know how the last few years, like FA Cup, the FA Cup, no one gives a about it.
It's because of the money.
The magic of the FA Cup was truly alive this weekend.
Yes.
Wasn't it, brothers?
Yeah, what a goal by Iwata, by the way.
That
I
was-
have to remember his name, but
Oh yeah, mate.
Yeah.
That game was class. It was just
He's a really
everyone
good-
was
really
fucking.
good
They were
shot.
getting pissed off with the Sula,
the
literally
top
beating
bin.
the shit out of them.
Yeah.
It was a class,
Absolutely
proper
lethal.
game.
Blues are a good side. They
No,
are
it was
literally
just-
like a top 10 championship
It was just
team now,
dirty
so-
though, like, but everyone was like getting in some rough tackles. But it was a good game.
Just
Also-
the weekend just shows you don't have to be a top 10 championship team to knock out big teams.
Does it also show you the importance of VAR?
with
or the
Well, for
non-VAR?
Leicester?
for the Leicester United.
For Leicester, yeah.
Newcastle as well?
I think that's goal.
No,
No,
but
that's
the-
goal
the-
line.
That's not a goal.
This weekend on Super 6, the jackpot stands at a whopping £750,000 and you could be the one to win it. If it's not won though, never fear. It rolls over one more time and it will be a £1 million round. Get over to the app, simply predict the 6 correct scores and the jackpot could be yours. You can also compete against myself, Reeve and Theo on the official Pitchside Mini League. Make sure you join the league using the code PTCH24. We'll be giving away a £100 Classy Football Shirts voucher every round. It's super simple. Just predict your 6 scores, enter your golden goal, hit submit, and you are all set. Follow the link in the description below and sign up now.
No, the
Yeah,
Leicester
it's not a goal.
one-
The
Leicester
goal
one's
line
worse than Newcastle.
There should be goal line
technology,
technology
though, I don't
minimum.
get it.
Should
I
be
don't know
in
why
there.
it's not. I think it's maybe because it's from round 5 onwards. You have it all. I think because maybe some stadiums can't.
It's
have the,
you
the
have
software.
to have goal line technology
Surely
in the FA Cup.
Yeah, I
like
agree.
minimum.
Surely if the stadium has it, which I'm pretty sure League One does, no? Or do they?
They just, I guess they don't just
Have
across
a
all
look.
ties.
Have a look where goal line technology goes down to. I'm sure in the championship
Because there's a
it's got
number, like there's a couple of things. Obviously, that goal of it, you could see it weren't a goal. And surely the line.
it. Also, it weren't even that. It
I
was.
don't think it's definitely not. I don't think it went in, but I
I'm
don't
not
think it's
sure- I'm
decisive.
not
either
How
sure.
way.
can the
I
linesman?
can't believe the line are good.
How can the
give it,
linesman be 100% sure
Yeah,
that's a goal?
when there's a post in the way.
And then the Harry Maguire header.
That's so ridiculous. 3 of them are offside.
That's one of the most obvious
That
offside
is
calls I've seen in a
oh,
long
man.
time.
Premier League Championship use it. League One, League Two only use it in playoffs.
But it is possible.
Why? Is it 'cause
Only, yeah, it's
expensive,
possible. I
maybe?
guess
It's
just
expensive?
across all the ties, but it's
Probably
you should have it, man.
expensive, yeah.
Expensive
but-
to use, perhaps. But FA Cup should be having it because if you're a Leicester City fan right now, you're fuming.
Yeah.
Or
You're fuming.
you either have it or you don't.
The
For
whole
Yeah, you
competition,
can't
yeah.
You
change
can't just
the
go,
rules.
oh, no,
yeah.
now we've got
Yeah.
for the big teams, we're going to use the
Yeah,
bullshit
yeah.
equipment. It's a bit like, what?
Yeah.
So
And
I think-
it's
you know
an uneven
what?
playing field. The whole competition's
Exactly.
now on a
As
different.
it is the FA Cup, I know if you're a Leicester fan, you're probably like, fucking, that's bollocks. I understand that. And Birmingham conceding like that. There's another one, I can't remember what happened. But if you're going to do the FA Cup, no VAR, do it for the whole thing because
Yeah.
that is the FA Cup. It's the
Yeah,
historic
yeah,
tournament.
Yeah.
And maybe it's a bit refreshing to watch
And
agree,
obviously
yeah.
the no replays now is a bit shit too.
for the smaller teams.
Yeah,
It is for
exactly.
the smaller teams, but
Yeah.
it's a better watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it
Makes
more
the
relies
games a
on
better
one
watch.
game, but
What
like
was-
in terms
was
of
it Spurs,
financing.
Spurs drew to Stingy in the last round, didn't they? A really small club. And they were denied.
Oh,
and they won an
it's
extra
Tamworth,
time.
wasn't it?
They were
Tamworth,
denied a
yeah.
replay at like London
Yeah.
Stadium.
But then there's the other side of the argument where they had a legitimate chance to go through against
Yeah, but
Spurs
they don't
on
care
that one
about
leg.
going through, Lewis, because
Yeah,
if
I know it pays for seasons. I'm just playing the
if
other
Tamworth
side.
would have gone through and then drew Preston, it's like it's not worth them going
not
through.
even a
They'd
yeah,
have-
exactly.
They'd have preferred the replay at the Tottenham and get battered 6-0 and get £1 million. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like that is shit about the replays. Or what they could do is, oh no, yeah, I don't have the answers. I understand why they've done it, but again, it's more just to help the
One of them
bigger,
things,
bigger
yeah.
better
It is,
teams.
yeah.
It's yet again the Premier League ruling. Bastards.
Liverpool did get knocked out.
yeah.
The keeper for Plymouth, I don't know what.
I didn't watch this
Massive.
game.
And,
so-
His save in the last minute.
I can't-
He just played
I did
so
see the
well.
save. I did
And
see the save.
Striker.
the centre back as well that was absolutely ridiculous.
It was good. They would
remember his
just put up
name.
such a performance.
Yeah,
But
they were brilliant.
bottom of the championship, are they?
They haven't been bad lately. They beat us last week.
Did they? Well, they still
Since
bottom.
Tom's managed them,
You are?
since you've started managing them, they've
Yeah.
picked up.
But they are bottom, right?
Yeah.
Beating the top of the Premier League.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Come on.
Pretty cray-cray.
magic in it.
Yeah, a good penalty as well, by the way.
It was-
He's really disguised that well. He's proper opened up.
Yeah, was it magical?
It was magical, yeah.
You do believe in magic as well? don't you?
Well, I do now because I am actually a magician. If you haven't watched the latest Waffling episode,
Oh,
but
yeah. But Robbie Williams never cracked America, so it doesn't
no, that
matter.
was really weird. I still don't understand it. What do you think of the Leighton Orient goal or own goal?
It's
just
harsh,
give it to the.
I know, yeah.
Give it to the fucking
Fucking
player,
stupid,
mate.
yeah.
It's
so harsh giving it an
abysmal.
own goal.
No, I know, but at the same time, right, it wouldn't have gone in.
Yeah, it is an own goal, but just give
No,
him the
yeah,
goal.
it is an own goal,
It's
yeah,
not
but
so
just for
far
the
out.
sake of
Yeah.
the cup. Like,
Yeah.
just let
Fuck
the,
it, he scored it. He
is he
knows
on,
he
is he on
scored it.
loan from Spurs, or if they signed
I
him?
think he's on loan. There's 2 players on loan at Leighton Orient.
Yeah,
apparently.
he's a Spurs. He's done it before, that hasn't he? There was
Has
a,
he?
I tell you what, their keeper was fucking good throughout
he
that
was
game
good,
as well.
yeah.
He
There was a
unreal.
clip going round about him
They kind of have
scoring
to be, though, in the-
for the academy the same
Similar.
way. Similar. I was at the album for that game, so I missed it. But we got the
Leighton Orient,
notifications.
their
through
keeper
it.
was quality.
Was he?
Really, really good, yeah.
I
It's
saw
just
the-
a
I saw
clever-
the
it was a clever
goals,
De
but-
Bruyne finish to win the game.
Yeah, it was.
Very
It
clever.
was.
But again, like, it just shows you that this is why we have this competition to have,
Do you know their record against lower league clubs is like ridiculous? Man City,
as in bad or
Poor.
good.
unbelievably good. Like I think
Oh,
it's,
right.
It's like 14 in a row or something.
it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's like 14 or 15 in a row, something like that, and their aggregate score is something like
I'm not
I don't know,
surprised.
90-0. Or,
Because of their depth, their squad, even when they rotate. Like, if you look at Liverpool's team, obviously Liverpool won 2-1 against Plymouth because they played their second
I'd
team.
argue Liverpool have more depth.
No, but City is like
I've seen all
a.
the tweet.
Well,
Liverpool actually won 2-1 because it was their second team.
I saw people
so
say
90 plus 9.
I've seen people moaning it was their academy when it wasn't.
Yeah,
It really was. It was all
Jota,
international
Nunes.
footballers on the pitch.
Yeah,
like-
Diaz starting.
Yeah, fucking Diaz, Jota. There's 90 million.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. I did. Don't know. They did it with the academy, lads.
But some big, obviously Liverpool were knocked out. Does that open up the doors for
Someone else,
Newcastle?
I told
Or
you we were doing
Chelsea
the
getting
double.
knocked out by Brighton? Chelsea were poor.
Chelsea were
Yeah.
So
rubbish.
poor. Brighton
Chelsea
are not
were-
in a good state at the moment
Yeah,
to beat
Chelsea
them 2-1.
was so
on
bad.
Chelsea. So how long's the new ownership been in? Like
Burnley, 2
Couple
years.
years?
so it's
years.
over $1 billion spent, 32 players signed, I think it is.
Yeah.
Like surely they
Up
should
until
be.
Christmas, mate, we were talking about how
Surely-
they could win the fucking
Yeah.
Premier League.
Well,
Like,
you
it's
do.
just swings and
I
roundabouts.
want to hear where the U-turns
Well,
come from,
shoot-
Lou.
shoot,
Why are you thinking like this when you said 4 weeks ago that they win the Prem?
I know, but they haven't. But this is the point. Like they should be competing for trophies and winning stuff.
Yeah, they
like
should
because
have-
if we're criticizing Arsenal for the same thing, and just because Chelsea have spent it in less time, I don't think that alleviates the pressure for them to get a return quicker.
But they should have beaten Brighton. There's no.
That's what I mean, like-
they should.
like,
They
it's
should
a
be.
failure.
The FA Cup for Chelsea should be their number one priority.
Yeah, they've spent £1 billion,
Apart from
over $1
Europe.
billion.
But yeah.
They had 32 players and they haven't won a trophy.
Arsenal are just suffering from their own recent success. Because if you look at the way that the table was, obviously because we haven't won the Premier League in the last 2 seasons, there's more scrutiny on Arsenal to be like, well, you're in this position, you should be better. But Chelsea, looking at their squad, they should be under more scrutiny because of how good.
No, but people were slating loads of their signings, and it's only, most people at the start of the year had them finishing like 6th or 7th.
But again, we use that argument with
up until
Havertz,
Christmas,
though.
they were in the title race.
Yeah, and they probably should be.
I think they've been a lot better. I think
It's just
I think we're
yeah,
being a bit
they've just
hard.
really
No, I
dropped
feel
off
like
since
we're
Christmas.
being way too soft on Chelsea
Yeah,
and then equally
I
harsh
agree.
with Arsenal.
Why?
Like, because we were saying, oh, it's Havertz, blah, blah, but then we were saying, yeah, but you chose to spend 60 million. So it doesn't matter if they've overspent. They've chosen to do that.
I'm,
and with that comes-
Madrid.
I'm not saying they've overspent.
Mudryk.
oh, yeah,
What?
they've spent a ton of money and there should be a return expected from that quicker if they've spent
But
it quicker.
they're more than likely going to win a trophy this season, aren't they? So is that good enough for you then? If they
Are
win
they?
that,
Europe.
The
they win.
conference.
If they win the Conference League and finish 4th, is that all right with you?
No.
No, right. Sorry.
Good.
I'm sorry,
Good,
if
yeah,
1
keep
billion
it
returns the
consistent.
Conference
In one
League.
round of the FA Cup,
But-
obviously,
but-
Arsenal got knocked out. Chelsea knocked out. Spurs knocked out. Fucking Liverpool knocked out.
Yeah.
Newcastle City almost.
Man
They
City-
hung
Man
on
But
there.
this is
Probably
my point
win it,
about
don't they?
Arsenal. Just saying you've won a trophy doesn't mean success or a like if Chelsea finished 3rd this season.
What?
No. I'm on about him. I'm on about just in general. This whole concept of the only version of success is a trophy, but it's not though. Is it? It's all only one team can win one trophy. If Chelsea finished 3rd this season and win the conference, I would say that's a pretty successful season.
Well, you're right, Tom, because if Forest get top 4 and they don't win a trophy, that's a very successful
Exactly.
season.
So I think just to go, oh well, they've spent $1 billion, so that should just mean they win trophies.
It definitely brings more expectation for them to perform in competitions.
But they are getting better, aren't they? Chelsea,
they got worse
yes,
since
I agree. But like
they've been rubbish the last few weeks. But in general, as a club and as a team, they're
in general,
better,
yes.
aren't
But
they?
that doesn't mean we take it because I'm only applying the same. If Arsenal spent $1 billion, I'd be saying this about them.
They've
I can't just because it's Chelsea.
Spent not far off.
Yeah.
Do you know? I saw a really interesting comment raised by Carlton Cole recently about. Did you see what I put in the chat?
Yes, I watched it.
Yeah, it was interesting, wasn't it? He was basically saying he was touching on Man United and the players that they have and the wages that they're on. That the Man United players are suffering from the success of the previous generations. That the only reason these players are on these kind of wages and have the expectation on them is because of what the previous players have won.
Yes.
Any response to that?
Well, it feels like you were just regurgitating that.
Yeah, but I never actually thought about it in that way. But it was just kind of interesting.
Yeah, that's how clubs. Like Man City will be the same. All the new players that they're bringing in, they'll be on more because of the recent successes that Man City have had, even though they're not quite as good as the players that they have just got.
But they get treated the same as the previous players.
Yeah, that's the expectation of the club, though, isn't it? That's how football clubs are. The better you are, the more people expect you to be.
But are we not? Should we not take a leaf out of Lewis's book here, where he says you need to stop looking at like Man United as Man United or Chelsea as Chelsea and look at them as they are now?
Right, but then if United don't uphold the standards
internally, they should hold the standard. I'm talking about as objective football fans, like
but how
can United compete with other teams if they're not paying the same wages?
But at what point in your mind does the paradigm shift from they're not as big as they used to be?
Yeah, how long?
We're going to have to top on this.
What's the time frame? Because if you apply that, on Man City,
what you said there, it's quite interesting.
After how much time does the paradigm shift in your mind that they aren't as big as they used to be? Like for example. But like Man City,
how big they are is different to how good they are.
No, but Forest when they won the back-to-back European titles and whatnot, how long until they started becoming the Forest of the Championship?
Wasn't that long, I don't think.
It's more the expectation.
You know
like the club still carries that weight.
Relegated a few years later.
Like Leeds still carry the weight of Leeds. It's just like just after a time you stop thinking of them as a top 4 team.
And also how big a club is kind of determines how much players do get paid.
Yeah, because they've got more money.
Exactly.
United are still the biggest club in England by far.
That's the point. That's what I mean.
But
they're not.
They don't.
It would take United finishing 10th like 5 years in a row for them not to be the biggest club in England, or 10 years in a row.
Football changes fast, and that I heard a fan talk about it.
After how long is that switch made? Like Man City, for example, loads of recent success. When are they a bigger club?
Well, I would say Man City are now like the 5th biggest club in the country, 5th or 6th.
And 5 years ago, where would they be in your
Probably
mind?
not, probably because they've won the Champions League. But the Champions League, the European trophy is such a big...
Who's a bigger club, Arsenal or City?
Arsenal.
They haven't won the Champions League.
I know, but you've just got a way bigger fan base.
Yeah.
And
you know what I mean? There's loads of different... There's loads of
factors to what determines a big club.
If you win the Champions League, it does.
But because winning the Champions League... It increases your fan base by like 10% because kids growing up in like Chelsea have got a big following in Africa, haven't they?
Yeah.
Kids growing up in Africa in the last 10 years, a lot will be Chelsea fans because of Drogba, the Champions League. Yeah. In the next 10 years, it might be City.
And we have a sort of love towards like an AC Milan or Real Madrid, Barcelona because we know them for winning the Champions League.
Precisely, but at the minute, Napoli are the best team.
But we don't watch European football. I mean, like we don't watch.
But Napoli won't have fans in England or people who follow. Yeah. Well, they might have a few, but
I know what you mean.
If you was to say who's your Italian team, you're going to say Inter or AC, aren't you?
Yeah.
The Man United, AC Milan. Would you just say Man United now with the problem where, it seems like for a few years where they can't attract, like, although they can compete with wages.
No, they're definitely struggling to attract the bigger name players, for sure.
I think it's more the club being a mess than United can still attract players.
I don't think it's... I feel like if you're a top
especially
player...
Champions League football's huge.
Yeah, not having the Champions League,
huge.
That's
and also, you're going into a bit of a mess, and it's a bit of a nightmare.
And it's also been a bit of a graveyard, hasn't it?
Yeah.
But they've still signed some pretty big players. Like Ronaldo come back.
Yeah, but it's an ex-player,
I feel like
you know what I mean?
Like, now.
And everything he said about the club is sort of being proven true as well, which is kind of interesting.
If anything, the way Ronaldo left has damaged it further.
It's not a great example because it was kind of washed, even though he did all right when he first signed. Yeah. Casemiro is a good example. That's a huge name. For
Yeah.
The thing is now, if Chelsea and Man United want the same player, they're going to Chelsea.
I don't know if that's true.
I really do
Depends
think
if
it
they
is.
don't know if
Champions League
that's true.
football.
I think it depends. I think it depends on the player.
Do you think if Forest get top 4, right, get Champions League, and
Yeah.
say Chelsea and Man United don't,
All right.
if you're a top European player,
You'd want
and
to
you
play
get
with Chris Wood,
offered
yeah.
Nottingham Forest
I feel like
or Manchester United, who finished 12th and are in a huge, who are you going for?
They'd sign for Man United.
Yeah, Manchester United, mate.
definitely.
Well, even as an individual,
Promise you.
and as a footballer, the
But still, it's a
exposure to
question
the
you're gonna ask.
world you would get from
Yeah.
being a Manchester United player as
No, I
opposed
get
to a
that.
Nottingham Forest player.
Is that
But
a
you're-
question you have to ask?
But a lot of the time, the players sign as an individual. That
They think they're going to be the ones that turn the whole club around.
Also, playing for Man United, whether we like it or not, and this isn't a dig at Forest fans, 'cause it'd be the same for my club. Playing for Forest is not the same as playing for Man
A lot
I
of them
agree,
will
but
grow up
Forest is a
dreaming
club
of
with
it, yeah.
huge traditions, huge historical everything in football. Like they're a massive
They do,
club,
but they
and
have a
got Champions League
they,
football.
not a
they do,
massive
but they
club.
have a big
I'll give it
period
that.
of a gap. Whereas
No, I
Manchester,
get that, but I'm just throwing a question. I'm just playing devil's advocate here, boys.
Throwing it back.
Just throwing it back out there.
what?
I'm just throwing
Crazy,
it back.
throwing it back.
Flipped it back.
No, yeah. They wouldn't sign for Forest over Man United.
Champions League, mate.
They wouldn't.
It's interesting that, the
It's an interesting
Rashford to
talking point, I
Villa
think.
thing seems like if Villa keep going the way they are, and like if they keep staying around Champions League, like this Rashford to Villa thing where it's like, oh, people are laughing at it a bit. It's actually a step
I
up
think-
Villa are a
football-wise.
different example, though,
Yeah,
I think,
I
because they
think
have a
you-
manager that's
they've been
European
yeah.
pedigree.
And they're signing these
clearly on a
bigger names now
trajectory
as
that
well.
they
I
want to
also
compete
think
for the
maybe
best
you
titles.
think Forest are as big as like a Villa. Villa are a big.
No,
big
I know.
club.
I think Villa's completely different.
Forest
because
aren't
Villa
that-
have been, but also
but big
Villa
of
have
a
been
club.
in and out of Europe for the last like 5-6
Yeah.
years. Do you know what I mean?
And it's the stadium and like they've got a lot
Yeah.
of tradition. Like I know Forest won the European Cup, but the cup, sorry, but
And also, a lot of the other players within the squad attract names as well. Like you look at the Villa squad.
Even getting Asensio on loan is
There's
gonna
bigger,
help.
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
bigger
yeah.
names in that team than if you look at the Forest squad. Certainly in like European and international football, you go, oh mate, I'd love to
this
play
is-
alongside a Rashford.
No,
or
I
it's
a-
the
agree.
consistency as well.
But
of-
this is-
really if Forest get top 4, they're going to struggle next year playing. Even Villa have struggled this year a bit with
Yeah,
it.
it's rough.
Playing the extra games with that squad is going to be.
Well, we
tough.
know
But-
you
but
can't.
they
that's-
don't- we'll-
Especially
it
when
will-
you're a system merchant, like they need their.
Yeah,
But it will
yeah,
open the door
style.
for
Players,
Forest
but-
to sign bigger names or just more players in general. Like it does open a door to
yeah, of
push
course.
on.
But I mean, like,
We're not with PSR though. They're one of the worst ones as well. Forest.
because
they're going to struggle to
they
sign
bought,
players.
35 players in
But
one
it's
season.
all right because they're not getting top 4, so it doesn't matter.
Oh yeah, because Man United are going to finish above them, aren't they?